Honestly, it's getting ridiculous out here on Monday nights. All the sickos are out. All the sickos are out jamming in the drafts, chasing that EV. Everyone knows the trick now to get ahead of that ADP. And it's so fun to see where everybody comes out, where everybody's landing on before we got ranks, before we got projections, before we got ADP. And everybody just comes out with a different strat. And it's so fun to talk through. It's literally the Wild Wild West on Monday nights when the contest drops right as Monday Night Football happens. And let's just talk it through because we saw some really fun builds and some really fun players being drafted last night. And it's just the tip of the iceberg because we got a whole week to talk through now. What's going on, bros?
What up? What up?
What's good?
Good to be back, man. Good to be back after that crazy freaking week last week.
Yeah, man. Yeah, nice to have you back.
Hey, I see that. I see that, by the way, Mark. Cheers, brother.
Cheers.
Cheers. Full Christmas Cup season, not even December. It's pathetic.
Hey, as soon as Thanksgiving's done, it's Christmas season. Come on.
I know.
We can,
John's a Grinch, man. We were talking on Saturday night, and we were jamming about Christmas and stuff, and how like my wife loves to decorate, and John is like puts his foot down in his place. He doesn't let his wife decorate until what, like December 1st?
December 1st is the hard rule. December 1st is there's nothing up before December 1st, and December 1st you get to watch Elf, have a little Baileys and coffee. That's the kickoff of Christmas season. Is then no trees before,
and
December
we're listening
12th.
to this guy for strat, and he is coming out here with those takes. Goodness,
no trees either.
We might need to reevaluate our whole process after.
I love Christmas. It's just Christmas isn't a fucking month and a half. Like,
oh yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
It's not a lifestyle choice.
Anyways, Mark, it's so glad to have you back, man.
Dude.
I'm sorely missed.
Yeah, we need someone to put John in his place that he's willing to be like, oh, okay, and have him just be like, so
yeah, man. Sounds like I missed some pretty horrendous takes if that was the lead right there about Christmas.
Yeah, he was letting them fly when you were in here. He's just like, we got a Thursday without Mark. Yeah, here we go. We're just he's just loading them up. So
classic.
But yeah, let's start.
This slate's awesome.
Let's start with last week for 1 second, because there was something that we didn't hit on yesterday that I really want to hit on real quick. I'll just pop it up. Do the old screen share here. This one. Chad put together the results data last week, and the reason I really wanted to bring this up because like score one for team scroll the F down, right? He put together the results of the high scoring players on Underdog last week and the frequency in which they were stacked, drafted, whatever. The high scoring player on the slate, Jacobs, was drafted at 95%. He was stacked 0% of the time. 0% of the time was he stacked. And we saw that stack of Carr plus Jacobs take down the spy. Osimo had it this week. And just speaking to the fact that nobody, absolutely no one in our contests of whatever it was smaller this week, 35,000 people didn't even consider stacking Jacobs with his quarterback is pretty profound. Like just from like a macro level of like, oh my God, like there's so much edge in these contests to just keep getting weird, right? We got Garrett Wilson. We got Garrett Wilson here unstacked as well. Run back only 13% of the time, drafted only 8% of the time. Trevor Lawrence drafted only 4% of the time. Derek Carr, 1%. Zay Jones not drafted at all. That one's, I guess, kind of fine. But Zay Jones' underlying metrics have been really nice for a while, and he's kind of been a darling of the DFS community. So, anyways, I just thought it'd be remiss to not bring this all up and share it, right? Like DJ Moore. And to be fair, I don't think this is the entire player pool. This is just the results data of all the drafts in which we compiled. So it's just a snippet, a screenshot of it, because I'm sure people did, this 1% is probably actually 2 or 3, 4, whatever. But just wanted to share it. Just wanted to talk about it. Do you guys have any reactions to seeing this?
It just goes into like the
as you're muted.
It goes into the comfortability of drafting. Like we always want to maintain comfortability. We don't want to push the envelope. We want to not stray too far from ADP, but like this this result is not going to happen where a ton of like undrafted players are optimal like every week. But like when it does happen, you can see that you're fighting against nobody. Like, so what do you win when you get right on a very top heavy contest is worth pushing the limits of your comfortability when drafting.
Love it.
Yeah,
That's
I was just gonna say it's just a testament to last week. Last week was just like was really, really pretty crazy. But yeah, like it's just we talk about paths to first all the time, and I mean Garrett Wilson at 8% and Trevor Lawrence at 4%. I mean these are insane numbers.
Yeah, Numi, anything else you see? Want to add?
No, we touched on it enough yesterday, so.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, it's just interesting to see like some names up here that weren't like that galaxy brain that weren't getting attention. Like DeAndre Carter, like why couldn't it have been him instead of Joshua Palmer? Like Joshua Palmer was coming off the 2-touchdown game, but basically a week before that, it was a coin flip, right? And then all of a sudden, he's the guy, maybe not the guy that you needed, but he was the guy you needed in running a Herbert double because so many people built out that Allen or Palmer plus Herbert plus Eckler. Maybe just mix in the Carter once in the 6th round, right? Like it doesn't have to be all your builds. It doesn't have to be like that. I mean, Isaiah Pacheco, just simply from a leverage standpoint, only drafted 8% of the time. Like you get Kelsey and Mahomes going in the 1st round. We talked about Juju as the late stack option. How about just like Pacheco as leverage off of the fact that those guys are both going in the 1st round, right? Like there's just some very easy, obvious spots that I don't think are revisionist, right?
Yeah. The field was definitely way off on not getting Pacheco. I mean, they were 15-point favorites at home. I believe that game was at home. Like why wouldn't you? And Pacheco just handled like 20. Like he just broke 100 yards rushing. Like why would the field not be more on Pacheco? That's definitely a little silly. That's my victory lap. I broke even and was over the field on Pacheco. I'll take that.
The interesting with Pacheco is what's the difference in Pacheco or White or P. Ryan or all these other guys that got thrust up the board like crazy? What was the difference in taking a stance on Pacheco?
I think the talking point was just like the Rams' rush defense is good and they're going to get beat in the air if they're going to get beat. So people just thought that like it wasn't going to happen. You know, I think that's at least what all I heard. What were you going to say on that, Mark?
I was going to say scroll up because there's like 3 big points that I think you can make from this like snapshot of whatever this is, the data. The first is like Josh Jacobs ADP, like the 3-4 turn. This is a guy that the best way to highlight that team is there have been 10 games with a healthy Josh Jacobs and a healthy Devontae Adams, getting rid of DA's flu game where he lost 7 pounds and all that shit that happened, right? In 8 of those 10 games, either Jacobs or Devontae Adams has put up 30 fantasy points. Yeah. That team is just so hyper concentrated. And now 4 of those games, Josh Jacobs has absolutely ripped the slate apart. Like 35 plus fantasy points. It's insane. Yeah. So like the fact that Jacobs, and I was hammering Jacobs like during his, this is when I just started doing BRs like halfway through the season where Jacobs was like right in the middle of his 3-game stretch of like 30 plus fantasy points. And it's like he was still in the 3rd, 4th rounds. Like nobody wants to draft this dude. And I can't understand why. Because they have like the top run blocking offensive line in the league. Like he is a major part of their offense. And like no one wants to take him.
Last night, before ADPs came out, he was falling to the 3rd round. Like everybody just clicks on the other names. And like the projection models on Underdog had him as like the 6th or 7th running back as well. So it just layered on thick that, you know, people were drafting other options over him. Like I have multiple Eckler plus Jacobs stacks where I get Jacobs in the 3rd round. Right.
Yeah,
like
and
it's
he might stay there this week too, because reports are like, he's not going to practice at all because his calf is ouchy, and like it's probably going to have a big Q next to his name for the entire week. So I don't see him getting like, he's probably not gonna, he's probably not going to move up too much.
No, he's been dropping. this
Yeah,
morning.
dude. It's just like, okay, draft Jacobs. Got it. The second point is like, you could probably not bleed any EV the entire season if you never draft Trevor Lawrence, just the way that the Jacksonville Jaguars are built.
Sure.
So the fact that he's like on the top here or near the top, he still wasn't optimal. And it will take an act of God, hell freezing over, pigs flying, whatever you want to say, for like Trevor Lawrence to be optimal in a given week. So
Yeah.
I didn't want to like
you don't get more of an optimal spot than trailing with your starting running back out.
Yeah, that's. I would just go on record as saying like, don't be results oriented with this particular slate and be like, oh, now I got to start mixing in Trevor Lawrence into my pool, because that's probably not the case.
He might get a little bit too, because they're playing Detroit this week.
They got like one of the highest game totals on the slate. Like,
that's
I'm
like
gonna be mixing them in.
That's like neither a good thing or a bad thing, because there's like 0 teams with a Vegas implied team total over like 27 or something like that this week. But there's like,
I believe you're right. 27.5 was the number.
Yeah,
27.25 according to 1 week season on both the Browns and the Chiefs.
Yeah. And then, but there's like I think it's like 12 or 13 teams that have a Vegas implied team total between like 21 and 24.5, which is like more than typically we get on a standard slate this season. So it's like, it's very compact, which is weird.
Yeah, no, there's like a lot of really good options on the slate, which is why like ADP is so wonky right now, because there's a lot of guys that project similarly as far as like their range of outcomes. And, you can make a really strong case for like 8 different running backs and like 8 different wideouts and these different quarterbacks. Like it's been a really, really fun slate to draft so far. And these always are first thing. But right now, like, I think we're going to see like some pretty big shifts, and we can get into like what we think is going to take place. But yeah, personally, like just to reiterate, I will probably be taking Lawrence, but that's definitely, I will probably pump the brakes now that like you said that, but like I will, just for the sake of uniqueness.
Yeah. Let's jump into this. Let's jump into this slate a little bit more here. GMs to everybody. GM Brett. Shout out to Joka taking down one of the NBA contests last night. Friend of the brigade there. Always chatting it up about hoops. Love to see that. Do me a favor, what you guys? Yeah, hey, old John Boy Hoops guy finished 11th last night again. Back-to-back 11th place finishes. I'm coming for it. I'm coming for that.
What is that? Is that 50? Is that 200 or like $50?
Oh yeah, it goes 50. From 200 to 50, dude. I
250 to 50.
I asked if there's a possibility we can get it flatter and just aspects of just chopping off a little, and I was told that no. So
yeah,
you need to get that 0.01% finish to basically get.
I'm getting it, Numi.
Yeah,
I'm getting it. I'm fucking hoops guy. Beef stew is the answer tonight. I was drafting him last night. You love to see it, right?
He's the one that's probable this morning, so that's good.
Coming in 11th, the best place to finish, right, baby? Hey, do me a favor, everybody hanging out. Hit that like, hit that subscribe, hit that little bell thing that I don't know what it does.
It's a notification bell, so you don't miss any videos.
Yeah, it helps.
Let me do the plugs, man. Just let me do the Nez Nugs to the Nez plugs. Let me just handle that, because
I don't know, man. Just hit that shit right there.
I love it. Numi, I want to pick your brain a little bit. You posted a couple teams on Twitter last night that you drafted. What was your overarching strategy? Did you do any pre-research before jumping in when they opened, or as soon as they opened, you just kept hammering? And
I just looked at I looked at the games without looking at totals. I just looked at the games and I went, that's a fun one. That's another fun one. That looks real fun. And then when it dropped, I just tried to get the most insane combos from those set of games. And to those games, it's the highest total games basically that I was looking at in terms of the Bengals, Chiefs, Raiders, Chargers, Lions, Jags, and the 49ers, Dolphins. Like those were all the four that I just was like, yeah, those look really fun. And And yeah,
honestly,
I
I'm
mean,
shocked to see the Niners as 4-point favorites. Like, I think they're the best team in the NFC, but 4
that
seemed like
yeah,
quite a bit without Eli
that
Mitchell and
and we can
without
get into
knowing
that
how of
game.
Debo.
We can get into that game like later if we want to, like, but like it's just in terms of my strap or like how I like research was just I did that and yeah, I tried to get the insane combos. I was lucky enough to get a Mahomes Kelsey twice. And you know,
Yes, Inez got a couple as well.
Yeah, as you did as well. You know, just tried to my first one I panicked as I was doing like 5 drafts at a time. Like so all of a sudden I'm sitting there and it's buzzing down and I'm like Miles Sanders. Then I quickly went back and I clicked Najee and I'm like, oh, that probably wasn't the greatest pick, but hopefully he's just out and then that swaps to someone. But yeah.
Yeah, there you
It's
go.
just it was if for anyone that wasn't in there, I mean, I think all you guys, maybe Mark was in there. It was just littered with quarterbacks, and then the wideouts were buried. Travis Kelce, Mark Andrews was buried, so you could really just pull off some insane, insane teams when people were just drafting quarterbacks.
Yeah, my thought process was less, and this is why I kind of prompted it and asked you, because I'd like to hear, Nez, what your thought process was as well, because my thought process was far less about picking games, picking correlation spots, picking whatever. I just put Mahomes and Kelsey at the top of the queue and Andrews and just put the star on all of them. And just that's all I did. And I loaded up 6 of them because I was like, these are going to be the hardest ADPs to pair together all week. And I don't really give a fuck about the rest of it. Or if it's perfect
6
or if it's
Mahomes,
whatever.
Kelsey, Andrews.
No. I'm just saying that's what I just did. I put the star at the top of all of them, fired up 6 drafts. And I was like, just happen, please. Like, because I was like, what's the most unique possible combination that nobody else is thinking of building right now or clicking on right now? That's all I wanted to do. And I didn't care about correlation or one-offs or game environments or anything. I was just kind of like, just put these players up there and get them. I mean,
that was obviously the number one goal was to get the Kelsey and Mahomes, but like that wasn't happening. So I was going to still build those teams out
of course,
in terms of super ways. But no, my obvious goal was to try and get as many Mahomes Kelseys as I could before 80. And we were talking about it yesterday. Like Nez put the freaking Brian Windhorst like post up there. Like we haven't got ADP yet. Like first we get the contest to drop at like 5:55 my time. So that's like a good hour and a half before even Monday night drops. We still have the other contest going. So that was a surprise. And then ADP doesn't come for like an hour. So it was like,
it
was really the market. So like what's really interesting, like 2 things. I'll answer that question too about how I did my research. But first, I just want to say that like the way that these markets are set, like the Badge Bros, not just like us, but like the Brigade, everybody else, like it's a bunch of sickos in there. And when these contests first drop, we are like the market makers. Like think about it from like the stock market perspective. Like we are the market makers, and we create anchors. You know, once that ADP is up there, people like respect it and like they rarely deviate from it unless we get some like really, really strong news, like, or just like, you know, people kind of like waking up, like the Jeff Wilson thing last week. He's opened up at like 20, ended up getting boosted to like 12. This week we have a few scenarios like that now with like Travis Etienne and Kenneth Walker. Just gonna like ruin this for everybody. Like their ADP is out of whack right now. It makes no sense for Ken Walker against a JV team in the LA Rams to be as low as he is, and
without Aaron Donald,
right? And then Travis Etienne is like he's good to go.
And the ETN one's going to get steamed because like it's such a good spot versus the Lions, but the reason he was pushed down and nobody was clicking his name, like I have a lot of 6th round ATN because of the Q tag, and now he's got this probable tag, and he's just going to thrust up boards now. You're going to see him go in the 30s.
Get all the ETN that you can.
It hasn't happened yet. So like because of that, like at this very moment, like I'm not drafting Jacobs at that ADP, and I'm looking for ETN down there. But this week, I actually did like an exercise. I sent it to you guys. I labeled like all of the matchups this week in a Google sheet, and I made like predictions or like, you know, my own, like where I would rank them in terms of like what round I thought that each piece from like all of those games would go in. And and that helped me once the contest dropped, because I had that as like a point of reference to say, okay, like look for these guys, and I was off on a couple of those, but that really helped me once the contest dropped to like be ready for it. So yeah, this is really, really like scrapped together. I did this in like 10 minutes. I might have even forgotten a couple big names, but
so one thing I want to say here, which is just absolutely insane. 2 names I want to highlight, and that's CMC and Debo. And you can get CMC and the 3rd and 4th, and you were projecting him to be in the 1st, which I think he should be maybe like up in that like range, not in the 1st.
Yeah, I think people are just scared of the injury. That's it.
And then Debo is freer than free, undrafted in 5 drafts this morning because I already set up with wide receivers. And I get all the Debo, but like you want a game environment in which can just go off. This is the game environment, is it not? And 6th round Debo seems like a steal with Jeff Wilson as another easy bring back, freer than free. So I just, when Nez talks about these ADP, I don't understand them right now. And maybe Mark can tell me, or I'm just dumb right now, but I just don't understand how CMC is. I get the injury. So, but just the Debo one, like, I just don't understand it.
And Kittle, dude. Kittle, like, look at
Kittle's the 3rd tight end off the board now,
and in the 5th, he's going 5th and 6th frequently. Like
Kittle has played in only 3 games that the Niners lost this season. The first one was that like weird loss to the Broncos, like 10-11. And then the second 2, he saw 9 and 10 targets. Yet we're like scared to click the button because it's like, oh, Kittle's a right tackle now. Like, draft that man. Like, you're talking about dudes who can put the slate out of reach. It's like, Kittle, dude. Kittle's massive upside this season or this week.
I think a pretty common
cheap.
I think a pretty common build right now that people are going to gravitate towards because quarterback is pretty I don't want to say flat, but it's like there's a lot of quality quarterbacks on the slate. I think a lot of people are going to gravitate to grabbing some 2nd round Tyreek right now because of the Q tag. I've noticed that he's been falling. So I think it's pretty easy to pair him with an elite talent from the 1st round, from the middle of the board, then get Waddle in the 3rd at about like the 13th, 14th pick. Tua comes back, Kittle or Debo as the bring back in the 5th round. I think it's a build that a lot of people are gravitating toward right now, myself included. Sure. Yeah. If you build it that way, for sure. Yeah. Take the
Vegas
receivers,
like,
then take them first. Yeah.
Yeah. Vegas in the market, like on underdog, just like have a lot of disrespect for Tua. I'll just call it like it is. It's just straight up disrespect. I don't understand why this game is a 46-point total. Like that to me, like just does not make sense at all. I don't like I know that this Niners defense is improving and is legit, but like 46 points for this total to me just like doesn't make sense. Like the Niners can put up a ton of points. Miami can obviously put up points. I love this game. This is like my game of the week.
Yeah, let's anchor on that real quick because I think there's a general misconception from general fantasy people to like your average Joe Schmo football guy to like DFS players in how a game, like what are the paths to a game blowing up? A lot of people want to look to the teams. Like, can these teams blow up? That's not really how games ignite. Games ignite via individual talent. You need guys that can rip an 80-yarder, Jamar Chase, Tyreek Hill, Devin Duvernay. These guys that can, like, what happened in the
It's a hell of a list.
What? Yeah, right. Duvernay makes it. You can,
I was wondering where we were going there, and we just went to Duvernay, and I was like,
let's go, dude. My boy Duvernay. What did Duvernay do in week 2 against Miami? He returned the opening kick for a touchdown, and that just ignited that game environment. It was like, oh, fuck, we got to score some points. Let's throw the football. And so, like you look at like how a game blows up is not like Mike McDaniel is calling an aggressive game plan. That is a contributor, but the primary factor of like a game blowing up is individual talent. So like look for games that have those pieces when you're attacking game environments, because that's how like a game environment blows up. So yeah, like talking about like Dolphins and 49ers. 49ers have like led the league in yards after catch for like the past like century, right?
Yeah.
The Dolphins, you have like Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. It's like, yeah, that game environment could absolutely go nuclear. You don't even care like, oh, 49ers defense, like, yeah, like defensive breakdowns happen, coverage lapses happen. 49ers playing in zone,
Yeah.
communication issues happen. And if that happens against Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, like, shit, that sucks. Like, it's going to go 80 yards. And on the other side, it's like, yeah, they have Debo, Kittle, Ayuk, all these guys, Christian McCaffrey. All these guys can just wreck a game environment and just completely open it up. So that game, I would throw tons of money on the over right now. Actually,
there's literally 5-6 slate breaking talents in that game.
Yeah.
And the highest any one of them is going is 7.3 in ADP. And then you have to go all
and
the
he's
way.
falling.
Yeah, and he's falling. Then you have to
falling.
go all the way to 16, who's falling also in McCaffrey. Like, he's just continuing to fall. So I just pulled off my first Tua stack, and it's insane. It's insane to me that, like, this is just,
and
so
Ayuk's
attainable.
free too. Ayuk's free too. Like,
Yeah.
played 97%.
I mean,
of
Jeff
snaps last week.
Wilson's free. And coming back I don't know how much of a revenge game you can do when you're a running back, but the revenge game narrative. If you really want to talk about revenge game narratives, it's AJ Brown. So, but
Ooh,
and
that
here's
was
the
fun.
And here's the
Yeah.
thing, man. AJ Brown is a petty MFer.
yes, he
He
is.
is
Yes, he is.
petty. If you look at his Twitter, he's always clowning the Titans whenever they're on primetime and the Eagles aren't. This means something to him, dog.
This isn't the
I'm-
Nez Nugget I need.
I'm
This is the Nez
Dead
Nugget.
ass, man. This dude wants
love
to wreck the Titans. And the Titans are very stout in the run game, but obviously the areas where they're vulnerable there. Oh boy.
180 and 2. 180 and 2. Let's do
Oh,
And
it.
boy.
also, like, his quarterback, Jalen Hurts, is like, he's very, like, wide receiver centric in the sense that, like, when AJ Brown had his, like, 3 touchdown game earlier this season, there were reports where he was like, "Don't worry, Smith, I got you next time." And then Devontae Smith came out and saw like 9-10 targets the next game.
On his
So, like,
birthday.
Dude, he's
Yeah,
going to
yeah.
be like, I got you. You want to make the statement? I
Yeah.
got you. We'll make this work. It's going to be like a record, 20 targets, 15, like AJ Brown. Like, it's going to have a record, like, first half. It's going to be, I don't know.
Yeah,
I can already.
most of the time narratives are just silly. They're just fun to, like, throw
Yeah.
out there. But, like,
Yeah.
there might be something to that one. Like,
Yeah. If we're gonna get any narrative, let it be this one, because that's a very obtainable stack, and it's there a lot in for the first pick. So I had it today. It was there a lot yesterday. I mean, in terms of the market now, that they line up where you can get that the 2-3 turn, and just double tap them, and it's like, yes, that'll be common. Maybe mix up a little who you take at the first if you're getting that a lot with Kelsey, but that just seems like an easy double tap right there, without having to force any bring back, unless you can get the miraculous Derrick Henry to somehow fall. But yeah, you don't really need to bring that back. So
Yeah, I like it. Mark, I got a random question for you that I was thinking about
dude.
last night before we dive into some of this. What do you feel about, like, 2 pass catchers in a quality game environment with an unstacked quarterback? So, like, quarterback, like, pin, like, just in a vacuum, like plucking a quarterback from another environment, assuming quarterback scoring is flatter than other positions, and then going like, I got Tyreek and Waddle, but everyone on the face of the earth that has Tyreek, Waddle, or has Chase Higgins is going to then stack with the quarterback, and you get it unique by being like, I have the one-off quarterback who's trying to score 2 more points than the other one just to differentiate.
The broad answer is it depends. The more, like, nuanced answer is it can be done. I wrote about it in my NBC piece this week. Particularly pertaining to Osimo's 3rd place finish in the Millie Maker this week, where he had T. Higgins and Samaje Perine without.
That's what prompted my question.
Yeah. So, yeah, it can be done. And I think that it is sharp to do so in the right conditions. One, like, what does the slate look like? I would say that Tua and Waddle can succeed this week without I would say that Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle can succeed this week in the sense that they, like, destroy the slate without Tua being optimal, simply because we just listed 5-6 game environments that are positive game environments for this week. So, like, it can be done. it has to be done in the right way because you're targeting concentration. So it's the same argument of Josh Jacobs plus Devontae Adams, which I've been drafting like over the last 5 weeks that I've been in the BR streets, just because it's so concentrated. And we get another week this week with Darren Waller out, with Hunter Renfrow out, and that is their offense against a team in the Chargers that they have had back end issues. They have had injuries. They have had they struggle against splash plays in the running game. So like everything sets up where like if that game environment goes off, you can run Josh Jacobs and Devontae Adams without Derek Carr and be completely fine. Same kind of thing for I
think that's a better pairing. I think that's a better example of a pairing than like Tyreek Waddle, for instance. But
yeah. So like the fact that Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle make up so much of their offense is a little bit offset because Tyreek has been kind of the yardage guy this year and Waddle has been kind of the touchdown guy. So like while there is paths to like each of them legitimately have like 200 yard and 2 touchdown upside, the path to them doing that together without bringing along Tua, who's primarily a pocket passing quarterback, is slimmer than like looking at like Devontae Adams, Josh Jacobs. I don't think it's necessarily minus EV to give that a shot in a couple places, but I think it's a very, very thin needle to thread, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I thought about it a little bit last week because I had a bunch of Tua doubles that got sniped by like auto drafters, and then I just ended up with naked quarterback. And like I didn't want to be results oriented in those builds, but I was thinking through like, wow, these pass catchers are getting home, but Tua's throwing the touchdowns to other people. Well, that's within the range of outcomes. So then what is it to say that on a shorter slate, like we were talking about it yesterday, where like you can't get Josh Allen plus Diggs on the short 2-game slate, like it was impossible. So why not just go Bills onslaught and then hope the score of Kenny Pickett mirrors that of Josh Allen? Or you know what I mean? Like just as like a theoretical, I don't know. I just wanted to pick your brain a little bit.
It depends on like the dynamics of the slate too. I mean, Jalen Hurts just rushed for 150 yards on the ground and a score last week. Like
almost did it all in the first goddamn quarter too.
Dude, he had the first quarterback in history to have 125 rush yards and 125 pass yards in the first half. That's insane.
That's insane. I didn't know that.
So, like we talk about like the dynamics of a slate. Can Tua throw 4 touchdowns and all 4 of them go to Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, put up 300 yards, put up 35 fantasy points, and still not be optimal because Jalen Hurts rushes for 200 yards? Like, I don't know. Like, it's possible.
That's crazy.
Like, the dynamics of the slate have to be like taken into account too. Like there is a path at least to that being optimal, and it's super unique. Nobody's going to do it. So I don't know. Like the answer is, I don't know. It's just theoretics, but
yeah, that's fun. I don't really know where to go with it from that. I just wanted to pose the question and then kind of talk through it. Boys, Nez, Numi, anything ADP? This is 41 drafts that we as a community have compiled, and then Chad has put together beautifully in this sheet for us. Any names, anything popping out to you guys? I could scroll down. Let me just know what's up. But anything popping from our data versus the actual data on the site that stands out to you guys?
I think ADP wise, just like I said ETN already. Jamal Williams, I think, is a really good value as well at his price.
Yep.
And then
Jamal Williams, you said?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, he's down there pretty far.
Okay.
Jeff Wilson is down there pretty far. Otherwise, it's going to be hard for. And then Mike Williams as well, I think, is really interesting.
He's been one of my favorite clicks right now.
Yeah, because you get a swap if he doesn't play, and if he does play, that's a really awesome environment for him.
Yeah,
but I think
him and Joe Mixon in the same regard.
Yeah, but I think just to your point, just real quick about like going naked quarterback, I think that maybe we shouldn't like seek it out in our builds, but if we are sniped on like our Dolphins double or one of our stacks that we're aiming for, I think we should be more apt to go naked quarterback than say like draft Derek Carr because we also have Devontae Adams and like try to do a stack that like might not get
force
out.
another skinny. Yeah.
Like
Okay.
let's not force skinny stacks anymore. Like it's not worth it. Like if there's another quarterback with a higher range of outcomes, even though you have none of his pass catchers, we're only playing with 6 guys. Like just do it. Just do it.
Yeah, that's a good point. I like that. Numi,
Yeah.
anything to add to the ADP stuff right now?
No, not really. I mean, yeah, the Joe Mixon call was something I was going to shout, where that's a fun, basically no one seems to really want him at all. That's a fun stack in that highest total game just to get different, it seems like. And then Terry McLaurin just seems fun to me again. Just the fact that he just seems to be now just pushed down to that nice 35 whatever range. And he was playing it was the Falcons last week, and everyone, it's going to be a smash bot. Oh,
so
he can't do it.
Disappointed. So now he's
disappointed.
Against the Giants, and
can't do it against. Yeah, can't do it against the what is it? The 31st coverage grade Giants, past DVOA of 28. So Terry can't do that against them. So that's an interesting name that I've been kind of adding in. In regards to Nez's point of not trying to force a skinny stack, it's like I'm just gonna get someone I think is just undervalued, not force just get that skinny stack. So that's just something I've been trying to do as well. I mean, if the skinny stack is like 2 big players, like I think if you get like I'll still be a proponent. I like that Miami San Francisco game, so I'll skinny stack a Jeff Wilson, anything on there sometimes. But yeah, that's what I'm.
Where do we come out on this one? This was one of my favorite things yesterday when I was scrolling down.
Dude, I don't think
they saw how deep
him.
Quarterback was. Yeah, okay, that's fair.
I don't think they should play him. That's not different from I don't know what they're gonna do. I don't think they should play him. I think that there's no reason to play Justin.
I'm worried that if he does play, like he's going to be strongly advised to not run as much, just because he's got that like his left shoulder.
Get the Lamar treatment, or get the Kyler treatment, where it's like he's a rushing quarterback with no rushing upside.
Yeah,
I think Justin Fields doesn't give a fuck though.
Justin Fields is like. I feel like we clearly saw like a shift in him though. Like in the beginning of the year, I'm not sure like what the hell they were really doing, except like running a bunch and like not letting Fields do his own thing. Maybe it's like the more designed runs, but then like they unleashed him against some like really soft matchups. I will say like the fact that it's against a division opponent like the Packers, that could, I think, maybe lend itself to some more aggressiveness. But the fact that his best receiver just got hurt, they've lost like 8 out of their last 9 or something. For me, I don't love it right now, just the way that things are lining up for the Bears. I think they might end up playing it pretty safe, but shoot, man, if he's active, I mean, you might as well like take a shot, because like I don't think it's 100%. I'm not saying with 100% certainty that like we've seen what Justin Fields can do. He's the fastest dude on the field whenever he actually does play. So
yeah, dude,
right.
The time to do it is now. If Justin Fields gains clearance, I think that Fields and Eberflus and the medical team are working together, I think, to basically do what Fields said, is like he'll play as long as he feels like he can protect himself. Like the quote from Eberflus after the game this past week was like, we didn't feel like Fields was in a place where he could protect himself well. Whatever the fuck that means, with a dislocated shoulder, a separated shoulder, and ligament damage. Like, I don't know what that means. How can you protect yourself when – but like to that point, if he plays, I would expect there wouldn't be any change to what we've seen over the last 6 weeks with Chicago and Fields. Then it's like, yeah, in style, in play calling, in Justin Fields rushing upside. And then it's like we just saw, we just talked about Jalen Hurts and what he did to the same Packers team last week. It's like, is there a schematic defensive reason why the Packers are really, really susceptible to mobile quarterbacks? It's like, yeah, they play like massively prevent zone defense, and then they ask their cornerbacks to turn their back on the play. It's like, okay, that creates 15, 20 yards of open field behind the linebackers. So it's like, yeah, if he gets in behind the linebackers, which he can do in multiple different ways, off the edge, up the middle, like on draws, on all this shit, like that we've seen from Chicago, yeah, there's tons of upside there. Justin Fields can rush for 178 yards like he did it.
One bear case statement I would just say about it is you have 2 teams at the bottom of their division who are both playing for nothing effectively. And if you get Jordan Love starting on the other side, I think they're more apt to just be like, okay, fuck, we're not going to force Fields into that game. That's just like one, like, I don't know.
If they get Jordan Love on the other side, I think it actually opens up the Packers offense.
Oh, sure. Yeah. I mean, I meant from like a whether he plays or not standpoint. Like if you're the Bears and you see Jordan Love on the other side, do you think you just go like, we'll just play backup quarterback versus backup quarterback and let our stud rest 1 week? Like just from like a bro science standpoint? I don't know.
The other side of that is like they're clearly, and this is the Bears, they're clearly positioning themselves for next season. So they're like, they're working through their offense right now. They are, they're bringing in wide receivers and Chase Claypool. They're making roster decisions and game day decisions based on like, let's figure out how the fuck we're going to play football next year. So if like that's the case, like, again, if Fields is active, I would see no reason for him to be limited, for the play calling to be different, for anything like that.
One thing I'll say about that is, I mean, if you just look, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 quarterbacks ahead of him. I see him realistically jumping Trevor Lawrence, maybe Deshaun Watson. Otherwise, there's no reason to take him. Like
Loading to me.
Okay. You gotta give me a second.
Give it a sec. Yeah, give it a sec.
I'm with you though, Numi.
Am I good?
You were good for me.
Yeah, you're good. Yeah.
So for me, it's just like he's not going to jump. He's not. There's. I mean, if he does, so there's just wait. If he's good, he's good. Otherwise, I mean, mix him in. But like you can easily mix him in. He's not going to jump over these guys. He shouldn't. And if he does, it's like okay, It's not like he's jumping up like you have Jackson, Herbert, Tua, Deshaun, all in the 26 to 32 ADP range. So like.
I think the only way he jumps is if we get some like insanely bullish reporting that like from like Rappaport that says, hey, like Fields is playing and guess what, guys? He's not limited in any fashion. They expect him to like, like it's going to take some like serious like sugarcoating on a report, I think, for him to make significant strides. Otherwise, I agree. There's too many other good spots that people like this week.
Yeah, and I agree with like if he's active and he's going, I'm gonna draft Fields. But my only thing is I don't think he's someone you have to take advantage of now, and then he'll just skyrocket up the board. That could be wrong. He could go right back to the Justin Fields everyone thought, and next thing you know, he's above Burrow and shooting up boards. You know what I mean? It's like,
This is a guy that 2 weeks ago was being taken 3rd overall in drafts.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. This is what the recency bias is, though, and I don't think we have enough steam for him to literally jump up all of these boards. Like we have to get the news very soon, and it'd have to be very bullish for him to just.
And people are very sensitive to Q tags in these lobbies. Tags and injury news, like that'll sink a player. Like
I mean, Josh Jacobs was what 3rd, 4th round.
Yeah, that's a really good point, Nez.
And now is a borderline 1st round pick. Like, I get it's Josh Jacobs, but it's just the recency bias hits so hard. So,
let's look at the ADP real quick, just for an overview, position by position. Go really quick, pick Mark's brain a little bit here, and then let's hop in some drafts here. I think Justin Herbert may find himself as the odd man out this week and be lower owned than is currently the case with the mixing in of these names, because I think Tua is always going to be a stacking partner, and I think Burrow and Mahomes are going to be thrust up all week. I think Jalen Hurts is underpriced right now. I think he's going to get thrust up. And then I think Lamar is always going to be there for the mini stack with Mark Andrews. So I do kind of think if people start thrusting up ADP and trying to get different with their builds and stuff like that, it's going to come at the expense of Justin Herbert in the majority of draft lobbies. Does anyone see something different there?
No, that's very astute of you for that observation. I'm with you.
Okay.
I think that makes sense.
I want to know your guys' thoughts because I saw you draft him a couple times. What are we thinking about Deshaun Watson this week? I think he's a big, maybe not a huge decision point on the slate, but he's definitely an interesting talking point on the slate.
Yeah, I mean, you want to talk about narrative street. I mean, you've got just the matchup itself, like that bears no. I don't need to explain it. Like we know he used to play for the Texans. I think from the Browns side, they are very, very like stubborn and like want to like say like fuck you to the league and to like their haters, which the haters are obviously justified. I mean, they're equally gross, the Watson and the fucking organization, but they really want to like, I think like kind of like shove it up to the league. And so I don't think that they're going to really hold back much on Watson, but also like, who's to say that their game plan doesn't really change from what they did with Jacoby with Watson? Maybe they're more level-headed than we think because they can honestly just run the shit out of the football and they have Nick Chubb. Why would they not like deviate from that? I think that it makes sense to mix in a couple Watson Cooper teams and Watson Njoku, and maybe even Chubb, and it's just a full out just onslaught. I think it makes sense to mix in, but like I'm not calling him like a top 5 QB. I just think there's too much uncertainty. But you can see it. It's the path is there to him going nuts.
Loosen him up before the game a little bit there. My biggest thing, and it's getting hit on in the chat right now, my biggest thing with the Deshaun Watson, his current ADP and the situation is the Nick Chubb scheme. On paper, this looks like a phenomenal Nick Chubb matchup. This looks like, hey, the guy who breaks the most tackles versus the team that tackles the least. Let's get Chubb. Let's pound him out. I have a very hard time, even with that narrative, paying a first-round pick for Nick Chubb, given how deep running back is on this slate. And then I do think the narrative of the resurgence of Deshaun Watson, they come in there. I do think exactly what you're saying, Nez, is the Browns want Deshaun Watson to be the guy this week. They want him to go in there and beat the shit out of the Texans and remind everybody. And I do think that lowers the ceiling of Nick Chubb. Now, this is all just bro science narrative,
of course.
but it's just something that I'm just thinking through.
And that's leverage off of that high Chubb, like you just said. That's just instant leverage, just going the pass game and just saying that Chubb just gets there, just has his Chubb 80 or 100 and something yard rushing, no touchdowns. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, Mark, what have you seen in that game or with Deshaun in general? What are your thoughts? Do you think they're in play is Deshaun in play this week?
I think he has to be. I mean, if you're talking about a last round pick, right?
Basically.
Yep.
My thoughts kind of mirror yours on Chubb in the sense that, like, yeah, the matchup is pristine, but they are not like he has not seen over 55% of the offensive snaps this season, something like that.
Yeah, I'll pull it up for you.
Yeah, dude. So they're not gonna just run Chubb. Like they have Kareem Hunt, they have guys in the waiting that they would much rather use to because this is an organization that they still feel like they're in the playoff hunt. Like they could run the table and still make a splash. Like what kind of story?
59% right? was his high.
Yeah, so they're not gonna give him like workhorse usage. They're not gonna give him like sub workhorse usage. It's gonna be like Nick Chubb is capped at like 22, 23 running back opportunities, with maybe like 2 or 3 of those being through the air. So like can he put up like 150 yards and 2 scores and on like 22 touches? Like, yeah, I guess.
Sure.
You're paying like a first round price for a seal. Like you're paying a first round price for a 98th percentile outcome. It's like it could happen.
I said something in the chat the other day was that Nick Chubb to me is a guy who can always break the slate, but he's a guy I never want to be overweight to. It's kind of always been my and the way I typed it out, it had a nice little rhyme to it that was cooler than that, and I was like, wow, that's a cool sentence. I should remember that, and I already fucking forgot it. But yeah, it was something like that, like something to the extent of like he never overweight, can always break the slate. That's my Nick Chubb slogan. Put it on a t-shirt.
Yeah, trademark that shit right now, gents. Yeah. I gotta bounce. I gotta go get ready again.
All right.
Yeah, pleasure as always,
Mark.
We will.
Deep dive Friday.
Back. Yeah, we'll look to be back.
Sounds
on Friday,
good, man.
Gents.
Peace.
See you, bud.
One thing I want to touch on here is this comment. Are we saying the Browns won't run the ball against Houston? That is the furthest thing of what we have been saying, actually. We literally said we know what the Browns want to do. Nez even stated that we know the Browns can just strictly go up there and run the ball, and that's what they want to do. We're talking about the leverage play of a first-round Nick Chubb versus a free everything else on the Browns. And then we stated the snap count of Nick Chubb versus Kareem Hunt, which if you were to just go look at that, that's not typically the person you want at a first-round pick. Can he get there? Again, it's always the talk of Nick Chubb's going to get there if on efficiency. He's the king of efficiency. You know what I mean? Like he's going to – that's the guy that's going to get you there on those low touches. But no, we're just – it's kind of like a leverage. It is a leverage play. That's why we bring it up. Like if these guys were third-round picks, if Deshaun Watson and Amari Cooper are expensive third-round picks, like it's a totally different story. We're not saying we're not bringing this up against that. It's like but no, I mean, we know what Cleveland wants to do. We know what Houston cannot do. We're just bringing up points. So
yeah, just bringing up a potential different angle to the game. That's all. Yeah, I don't think the comment was confrontational in any regard or anything.
No, I was just
yeah. Anyone else deep in this? Oh shit, my dog's throwing up. Give me 1 second here.
Oh no,
I'm gonna jump to dude. He did it all night. Yeah, I don't know what's up with him, but I'm gonna jump to running back. Why don't you guys talk? Is there anyone at quarterback you also want to talk through?
No, we can switch positions.
Yeah, let's switch positions. Talk running back real quick, and I will be right back.
Poor Tuck. Get him right, man. Oh, poor guy. That's the worst, man. When you got a sick dog, especially when they're sick all night, you get like no sleep. It's like having a child, man, and it's just the worst. So. These running backs, man, look at this. These top 12 running backs are all like pretty much smashes. How are you feeling about your boy Dalvin Cook this week against the Jets? Are you targeting him, or do you think that like where he's going makes sense? Because I think it makes sense.
So the Jets, just going off stats, I like to just bring this up and then kind of look at it. The Jets are 6th rush DVOA, 6th PFF rush grade. Obviously, it's the Jefferson sauce is going to be brought up. So
yeah,
I don't think anyone. There's no defensive matchup. Maybe prime Darrelle Revis if we want to get into that stuff, but like no one in the league really scares me for Jefferson, especially with the way that we can move him around.
And the market isn't scared of it either.
But in terms of Dalvin, it's interesting. My initial take without projections and doing that, it's kind of like mix him in. He's kind of like a guy that if I want him, I'll have to take him because of, like you said, these running backs up there, Eckler. I mean, Eckler, Jacobs, Chubb, smashes. Yes. Derrick Henry, I think is a great pick. Like I like Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
Especially at 10.
Like that's their weaknesses, like on the ground.
Saquon. Now we'll have to get probably someone smarter than us because Saquon's usage just looks like it's just coattail, just gone. And then you have the Washington Commanders with probably a healthy Chase Young back. So it's just really interesting of what's going to go on there. I still like to bet on the talent. Right. I don't know about you. I have taken Saquon just because it's like third, fourth round Saquon. You can't. I can't not take him.
I saw him go undrafted, and
Lord,
and I took him as my 6th round pick once.
Yeah, that's crazy.
He's falling big time.
Yeah, GA. Slade did not shut down JJ. Slade held JJ on the first play. Then JJ ran the wrong route, giving Slade an interception, and we didn't move him around. Dude, man, you know what? This is what GA does. We're good. We're moving on. Yeah, this is what GA does. I challenge GA to say something positive in the chat, though. I do. I really do.
Who the hell did the Jets just face, man?
Yeah, Sauce just allowed
Claypool just sauced on him.
Oh yeah, your boy that can't make a contested 1-on-1. I feel like he did that to spite you. He got up and he's like, "This one's for you, Nez." No, anyway,
it doesn't matter because that was still in total fleece by the Steelers. A second round pick.
Oh yeah,
that's in a stupid loaded draft class. Like
the Aaron Jones thing, I'll have to get your guys' take. It's just kind of like I keep seeing people say that's my favorite value, favorite smash. Like I think maybe on a different slate without all of these running back options, he's definitely in play. It's not.
I think that's why I like him so much. I like him, man. I think
he's in play. I'm going to have him.
He's hiding in plain sight. Like
that's
the Bears,
a good call.
The Bears suck, right? With Jordan Love,
no, you're not wrong. They do suck.
Love starts, that definitely throws a wrench into things. But I think that he is overlooked because of how many good plays there are. And I thought that he would be a little lower than I thought, but I think everyone else is also like really into the matchup by the sounds of it.
Are
So
we
there's
worried about the up and coming now AJ Dillon usage? Or I mean, it just the snap count of the way it's been there. Because if we look at that, Jones is a little bit. He has more. It's a bigger split towards Jones than than the Chubb Hunt one, but it's still kind of like there. He has that thorn in the side of AJ Dillon, who again now people got home, or he got home yet like last game. So that's the. I guess maybe that's too recency bias in my mind. Like, oh, here comes AJ Dillon ready to just not just take everything, but just make that more of a 50-50 split.
I guess for me, it's like a bet on talent. Like, I just don't think AJ Dillon is like super good. And so like, I'm not going to be like too scared of that because Aaron Jones catches footballs and like he's just like way better. But if Jordan Love is in there, like I'm definitely going to have to pump the brakes, which sucks because it seems like just like, zig while others zag, which I think if Jordan Love is a starter, and maybe there's going to be some data that that kind of goes against what I'm saying here, but I just think Jordan Love starting is like a boon for Aaron Jones. So
agreed.
Yeah, I'm probably going to pump the brakes, but that could also be like, oh, like, well, like, that could be somebody else's leverage. Like I'm going to zig while others zag.
So for someone that doesn't have as much Aaron Jones, I would kind of want to
either, man.
I would want to wait at this price. Do you see him just skyrocketing up where it's like you need to just I don't think you need to make the decision where it's like, I think this is one of them where you can kind of wait. If you get the news that Rodgers is starting and a kind of a more labored Rodgers, that kind of maybe benefits Jones more in just football bro science take, like dump down city. If Rodgers, I mean, obviously if he's hurt, it most likely won't be in there, but if he's in there and just trying to gut it out. But yeah, I agree with the Love kind of being a thorn in his side a bit.
Yeah, I only have one Jones share in 25 drafts, so but I like him. I do really like the spot.
Blake out here doing the Lord's work. One pet for Mr. Good Boy there. Yeah, here we go. Didn't eat his dinner, didn't eat his lunch last night. I don't know what's up with him. Super strange. We'll see. Yeah, it's interesting. I like this. I love the addition of the Winks line. Shout out baseball. Chris adding that in there just to give us like a quick, easy snippet of like what the cutoff of players that could be drafted. For those that don't know, the Winks line is effectively like only 12 running backs could ever get drafted because of positional limitations in these drafts. So kind of the cutoff of anyone going below that Winks line is effectively they're outside the range of ADP in which they're drafted every single draft if everyone took the maximum allowed at that position, which is probably not the case. Running back is probably drafted like 9.8 per draft or something like that.
Yeah.
If we averaged it out, 10 point, something like that. Right. So it gives us a nice, cute, cool visual snapshot. I heard you guys talking Dalvin Cook a little bit. Very interesting leverage play on the slate. I think that game could get very, very gross though. I think it could be much more low scoring. I don't think we get the same Mike White from last week. I don't think we get the same. Yeah.
No, I agree with you, and it's interesting because Vegas has that game at 45, and then like I said, just to go back to this Dolphins-Niners game, that's at 46. Like it's really goofy. I feel like that's just a ton of like excitement for Mike White, and I mean, hey, who doesn't love the Mike White story? Like it's nice whenever we have like competent quarterbacks stepping up, but like it seems like a matter of time before he turns into a pumpkin, and we're not, and then this all falls apart. Like I think that, like you said, the Vikings are not like I used to be like a big like over every time that on every Vikings game. They are now have more propensity to play like grosser football than people think, especially with this Jets defense. I am really surprised that total is at 45.
Yeah. I like that. This is kind of where I want to go with the Winks line is who do you think we're going to see rocketing up boards? I'm not sure there's a pretty obvious rocket up boards at running back this week. I think running back is very, very strong and solid for like maybe 15, 16-ish names, and then it kind of falls off a cliff. So I think we're just going to see a lot of mix and match in there. The one that I would point out is Travis Etienne. where he had the Q
Yeah.
tag. He's in a good game environment. We like him as a player. We loved his usage. I think that would probably be our most obvious pick to vault up draft boards. And then the second one would be Joe Mixon. As soon as he gets cleared from the concussion protocol, like that's the highest total game on the slate. It's a really high implied team total on their side. He's going to be in the third round by the time this week is done.
One early in the week just early in the week, something to monitor, I think, is going up against that Atlanta terrible defense. If there's no Najee, like Benny Snell becomes a potential play. Again, you just talked about how large and strong running back is. So it really depends on that. That's just an interesting kind of Sunday morning kind of thing where you can mix that in.
I think I would be more inclined to go to the passing game route there. I think we were wrong on the Deontay Johnson side last night. I think those targets basically mean, maybe I'm singing a different tune if he catches the touchdown last night, but like just in general, I think I just think that like, man, Pickens is elite talent. And I think a little Kenny Pickett and Pickens stack might be a real nice way to attack that Atlanta game. Little Drake London run back, maybe Cordell Patterson run back. Something like that. I think
I put that in the chat, and I got Nez's.
Oh, did you?
Oh, yeah, I put that in, and Nez goes like, "Whoa, now," or something like that, and that's all I got. So I was just kind of like, "Oh, I won't do it again then." But I literally did it in a draft he was in. Yeah, I don't know. And the JM point of Devontae Jacobs, the same point of someone's going to win a lot of money. I don't know if it was $1 million or a lot of money from a Kenny Pickett stack. Like this seems like a good week to potentially do it. Like. I don't know. That's something that I immediately just saw like, ooh, Pittsburgh.
Yeah, the thing is like I don't know that the Falcon, like I think the Steelers are going to roll on them.
Yeah,
and I don't know that like the Falcons are going to be able to push the pace with like I think the Steelers are going to just have the absolute clamps on Mariota, and I'm not sure that they'll be able to push the pace enough. I will say that if we get Jaylen Warren at practice, like wheels fucking up.
Good point.
I'm so serious. If Jaylen Warren's practicing,
that's a good.
He should be like right below.
I thought he was out for multiple weeks, so I'm just afraid.
Yeah, I honestly am not sure. I don't think he practiced at all last week, so it's not like it's a shame because this would be an awesome spot for him. But Najee, I'm just assuming the worst with Najee, like a core injury, like taken out immediately, like that's not a good sign.
Baby Stevie bringing up a really good one, good sharp player, obviously. This Dameon Pierce usage. We've seen it tail off. His usage in the pass game work, his usage in general has kind of tailed off the last couple of weeks since that Philadelphia game was kind of like everyone was souring a little bit. Then he had the nice Thursday night game, and now everybody's kind of soured again. If we just flip the script and flip the narrative on the Deshaun game and be like, hey, Deshaun hasn't played football in a year and a half. He comes back. He looks shitty. He throws a couple interceptions. Now, all of a sudden, we got some red zone opportunities for the Texans at home in like their fucking Super Bowl of the year.
Yeah.
Who's to say he doesn't get in the end zone twice? He's free right now. We know he's an elite talent. We know he's getting all the goal line, all the high value touches. I think this is a very sharp one to just bring up. And then obviously we've talked about it for weeks at end now that the Browns are by far the most ideal matchup for running backs. They have the worst run defense in all of football.
Awesome.
He's free in goal line stands. Like I got him in the 6th and go.
There you go. Goal line stand even better.
So, yeah. That's a fun one.
Yeah. We got him running back 17 in the ADP tracker right now. In Chad's sheet,
that's just the recency bias.
He's the 50th player. He's only been drafted 7% in the 41 drafts that Chad's been tracking for us. So very interesting name to throw out there. I like that shout a lot, baby Stevie.
Yeah, you could. I mean, you could see him go for.
Stevie's got
Sorry, go ahead.
No. Finish your thought.
You could see Pierce just put up a nice 25-pointer against this defense, and everyone just go. And it's the same thing of like You start off the week. We talked about it earlier. This isn't revisionist history. Going up against the worst defense, we really should have worked in Pierce. And it's like, yeah, we definitely should work in.
We definitely should have.
yeah, we definitely should. I mean, it especially with the stats lining up and with our thoughts. But then when we get in a draft, we're all hunkered by, well, look at these other names. I can't bypass these names. You know what I mean? Like, do it. Scroll the F down. Do it.
Yeah.
Print the
Scroll the F down,
Print the
baby.
mugs.
Print the shirts. Print the shirts. Any names, wide receiver that we're liking that kind of aren't up here? We talked about the Mike Williams one is a fun scroll down. Cortland Sutton I've mixed in as a bring back a couple times versus a bad Ravens secondary. I've mixed him in as like, hey man, he's just the volume. Just bet on volume, bet on talent. We know Russell Wilson is garbage, but hey, he can throw for two touchdowns at some point. Why not
really
both to him?
Some names down here that I really like as just thrown in there. I really like Terry. I really like Brandon Ayuk.
Ayuk's a fun one.
I like Pickens, and this is one that I talked with Nez as just a leverage off of all the pieces going, including a mix in, is Tyler Boyd again. I mean, I've been on him. It just seems like Chase is back. All the pieces are back, but nope. Who gets those 2 touchdowns? It's the Tyler Boyd week, and it's like I've been putting in some Boyd. I think it's totally in the realm of possibilities. That game being the highest total.
I want to talk about that real quick. Just like
your point with Higgins to me was a really good point that you put in. We were talking about. So
yeah. I just think that like looking at these games, you're on your own, guys. I'm not gonna lie. Like I'm gonna have very little mix in. I will have some, but like, God, that's gonna feel awful. Like I don't want any mix in. But like these like big games like this. And like looking for the least drafted piece that is what the smart players do. That is what the winningest players do. They see what the field is doing. They recognize what the good plays are, and then they just like slide under the radar and like, oh yeah, well I'm going to take Tyler Boyd because like why not? This game environment is like is so on fire. Like what this game should be. And it's like, why not? Like, why can't it be Tyler Boyd? Because like Chase is back, and now there's so much attention on Chase and Higgins, and they got to worry about Mixon if he's there, and Hurst as well in the same vein as Boyd. Makes sense to mix in here.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you look at T Higgins, like whatever we can put for however in the tournament, whatever he would be owned at, I think that 100%. That this. Yeah, so he's going to be owned in 100% of the tournament, like whatever amount of draft. So if you look at that, like, does T Higgins' probability of getting to his projection, like, is it 100% greater than basically Tyler Boyd? And that's what the sharps are doing in DFS. They look at this and they look at the ownership, like, is his probability of getting there like that, like greater, like 10% more greater than the other one? And in ours, it's like we can even leverage that even more.
It's even more binary
in a sharp way, in a very sharp way, because it's Tyler Boyd. We know he can do it. Like, I'm not saying to like he's one of the, but it's just in one of the best game environments. People are stacking. They're trying to get all this, rightfully so. I will try and get some of the great, but I mean anyone in those types of rounds.
This comment here about Boyd's a guy who actually gets a bump in yards per round stuff with Chase back. That applies for T Higgins as well. Chase is just good for the offense. Like Chase is just so good for the offense in general. So playing to both your guys' points there. Hey, Jelani Woods, shout out to us, man. Talking him up a little bit yesterday. Only got a couple shares. I think I got 2 Jelani Woods teams. And
how many
Bob is
one or
set
two
up
are
to
definitely dead.
The mini melee. He's got a nasty lineup sitting in first right now, thanks to Jelani Woods.
Who does? Sorry,
the guy with the comment, Bob Bick.
Oh, nice. Yeah. I didn't draft any of the mini melee after that one closed. After the other one closed, I just didn't draft any more.
Yeah, so right now he's got we'll see. He needs Gabe Davis to go off.
Nice.
But he's got Pickett with a JT and Najee with a Pittman, Gabe, and then Jelani, man.
Yeah, it basically needed Pittman last night. That Pittman plus Taylor is going to get somebody the other contest probably, right? Pittman plus Taylor, and then have it mixed in some capacity with Gabe and whatever.
Yeah,
Anyways,
James Cook goes for 2 scores, baby.
Someone hovering that Winks line that's real nice is Christian Kirk. I just feel like if he had any better performance than he did last week and continued to do what he did, he's pushed up like a little bit higher, definitely in that Jalen Waddle range, probably Amari Cooper, like if sitting in between there, I would assume. But because he kind of put up a dudder, he's kind of like, and Zay Jones so now the gap between the delta between Kirk and Jones is much closer versus Kirk just being up there. So
Metcalf below Christian Watson right now is kind of, I know it's just like ADP and it's one spot.
Aren't you scared of Jalen Ramsey and that Rams defense?
That's wild.
Yeah, I think it's funny too.
We thought Patrick Mahomes was going to light him up. Like Geno Smith does nothing but hit his over prop every single week, and it's the same situation.
Actually, Paul brings up a good point. Now that I think about this, shouldn't the Winks line be? Yeah, it should be wide receiver.
Damn it, Chris! Yeah. Good for nothing.
Yeah, it should be this. Yeah.
Well, then Tyler Lockett.
Tyler Lockett. I wonder if
we'll submit a ticket to the mods. No.
Request editing access.
He's going to deny that so quick. You are not allowed to touch this.
Let me fuck up the sheet, please.
Yeah. No, sir. Make a copy and edit it yourself.
This thing's going to go right. This thing's going to be that thing's going to be deleted quicker than Freezer got my freaking emails. Like that is going to be right to the bid.
Haven't seen it in a bit. Haven't seen him around in a bit.
I know. I hope everything's good with him.
Yeah, me too.
Maybe he fed the freezer. Maybe the goal is complete. Maybe the freezer has been fed.
It's full. the freezer is full. Yeah, I think we'll just keep diving in later as the week goes on here. I think Christian Watson's ADP is probably a little high, but people are just enamored with the touchdowns and the big playability, and they saw him do it with Jordan Love, so it's kind of like, oh yeah, that's pretty sick. I think he can definitely get home with that ADP. I've been targeting a little bit of Devontae Smith with Jalen Hurts because it was cheap. I'm not sure if I love it as much from like a play standpoint, but it just
I actually think it's a really good play.
Yeah, you think so? Yeah.
I do, man. I think the way that you beat the Titans, it really seems like you beat them through the air. And like Miles Sanders is good at what he's asked to do, which is to carry the rock a bunch, but you don't really beat the Titans on the ground. So I think that any pass catcher for Jalen Hurts is like absolutely in play. And it just feels gross because the box scores look really bad. But
yep, I like him a lot. I like Devonta.
Yeah, in theory, the Winks line on tight end should probably be like 8 point something. Like I think if we actually thought about the Winks line,
I like it for tight end being at 6.
At 6, yeah, because I think from a mathematical average standpoint, in the case that teams take 2 tight ends, that the Winks line actually ends up becoming 7.6 or something like that, right? I think we could mathematically calculate this to be better.
It matters on a Kelsey Andrews probably more because that's when, and Kittle, I guess, but especially Kelsey Andrews, that's when people are more.
I think the best way to do it would
tight end.
Yeah, I think.
In a vacuum, it changes every slate.
Yeah, because if there's no Kelsey Andrews or Kittle, I doubt you're getting. I bet the 2 tight end is the smallest little sliver you can imagine of builds.
That's true.
I think if you wanted to do it the best, it would be a blend of Chad's sheet as well, and seeing how often certain tight ends go, and within a certain standard deviation, if Everett and Hurst are mixed in just as much as the bottom of as the 4 and 5 guys, and maybe you do that, but that would be for somebody smarter than me to determine.
Yeah, so if we determined based off of our 41 sample, we end up with 26% of teams are 3 wide receiver. So wide receiver line shouldn't be 18. Wide receiver line should be 16.3 or something like that. And then 69% of running back is double. So it should be 10.4. And then 2 tight end is 3.2. So it should be 6.3 6.1 or something, like 6.4 or something like that. Yeah, it'd be interesting.
Enough.
Yeah, it'd be pretty interesting.
Let the guy with the math probably do it, huh? Let's baseball.
Yeah. Okay, tight end real quick. Okay, so one thing I do want to say about the Winx line and about players with ADPs in that Cleveland game, that game environment is getting drafted like pretty heavily just in general. We saw Njoku play a little ball last week. We saw Amari Cooper play some ball the last couple weeks. I just think this offense changes greatly with the addition of Deshaun, and I do think we have to. I don't know. It's such a weird spot on the slate because like I want to temper expectations because it's like, oh, he hasn't played football in a year and a half. But then I also want to be like, dude, last time we saw this guy play football, he's like a top 4 quarterback in the league.
Yep.
Right. So, and then there's all these other narratives. So it's I think it's going to be a very fun talking point on the slate, but I think I will be underweight this David Njoku ADP for sure. I think there's a very clear, 1-2 on the slate, then a small drop off Kittle. But I will thrust up Kittle greater than this 23 ADP. And I probably will thrust up TJ Hawkinson more than this too, because I think there is a pretty decent drop off between him and Pat Freiermuth. I don't want to read too much into last night because like the volume metrics have been there for Freiermuth and he's getting what we think will be a good game environment this week. Hayden Hurst is just betting on that game environment. Squeaky wheel narrative on Gerald Everett could be kind of fun. Foster Moreau and Tyler Conklin saw some good volume last week.
Tyler Conklin revenge game.
Oh, there you go. There's a mini revenge on the slate.
We got some Aaron Rodgers news via Aaron Rodgers on the Pat McAfee show that he plans on playing this week as he's got good news on the scans.
Mm-hmm.
So
okay. There we go. So that's good for Aaron Jones.
That's good for all Packers.
Yeah,
that's fair.
Yeah, that's definitely good for that, and that definitely is interesting on our Justin Fields. Like I really think if Love rolls out there, they're more advantageous to be like, I don't really know because they just both seem like they just don't really have a prayer. They don't, but yeah, that AJ Brown 3 tutties, 189. Yeah, I'm on that. I agree with that. I love it. I love the call.
I love this
talking about that. Yeah,
I think AJ Brown, like just what you guys were talking earlier, just like grown ass man with a vengeance, like just gonna come out and be like, fuck these guys, I'm getting it done, kind of deal. What do you guys say? We just hop in a couple here. We'll talk a little bit of. You guys been drafting any hoops yet?
Mm-hmm.
I don't like the small slates. I know where. I don't make money on the big slates, let alone the small slates. So I was close to. Oh my gosh, I was sitting at like $200 like all night, and then the Kings game and the Lakers game finished, and then I did just below profit.
Devin Booker, my goodness,
70.
Yeah, Booker. Yeah,
obviously
I didn't have much Booker.
And
I really liked my exposures yesterday.
Scared off of Kristaps, and I'm so mad. I don't know who said something. I don't know if it was Kyle Kuzma being activated, but I'm just.
I said something. I said that skinny European going against.
I listened to the hoops guy. Yeah, well then Cat freaking tears his Achilles basically, and
he didn't.
Twin Towers.
Oh, he did. I went to bed as soon as I got that news. I crawled into bed and went.
I'm pretty sure that they're optimistic that it's intact.
All right.
That's the last time.
I just figured,
good friends and family draft here. Good friends and family. We got Raised in. We're in here. We got ANT in here. We got the Rydock. How do you say this? Rydock 21.
Rydock. Yeah. I think
Rydock's in the Discord as well.
Ant needs to let us know how to say that name. Yeah. How do you say your name, brother? Is it just
ANT? No, it's like ANT.
I just say I just say Andy. Andy. Like
we have three different answers here. This is why we need
ANT.
Yeah, listen to the intelligent guy in the room. God, you guys.
I'm gonna call him Ant. Okay. All
right. First time I haven't seen Travis Kelce go 101 in a long time. King's Tavern opting for Devontae Adams.
I will say I don't think that Kelce and Mahomes will be like impossible moving forward. I just think he just. I mean, like the fact that Like I have 2, Numi has 2, that it's happened so much, and I almost saw it happen again this morning. I think that like it's going to unfortunately be more popular than we would
Yeah,
like.
I block any chance I can. That's for sure. No one gets it on my watch.
I did not.
I've been
block
Jefferson. I
it
mean, I've
at
been a
any
Tyreek Hill
frequency.
here, just me personally.
I have 2. I've been taking Tyreek over Jefferson basically all week. I don't think he'll fall in this room, and I do think I like Tyreek more just in general. I know
Yeah.
Numi probably likes Jefferson. But yeah, I've been team Tyreek so far this week. I don't think the Q tag is real. I think they were up 30 and they were just kind of like, yeah, we'll pull them out. And then I think today's practice report, tomorrow's practice, Tuesday. Today's practice report will then be like a vet day off, and people will overreact further. They'll be like, oh, DNP, but I think it'll be a pure vet day off. Then it'll be an LP tomorrow, and then it'll be full to close the week, and it'll just be wheels up. I don't think there's anything wrong with Tyreek Hill.
Somebody in their chat said that he left for cramps.
Yeah,
He did.
It was like it was something bullshit. Yeah.
Yeah. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Thanks, Market.
Actually, one thing I want to let's do this. We've been talking up this grown ass man. Let's do it for the stream here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Mahomes. See here, we might see a Mahomes Kelsey on stream.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of fine giving it up this week, knowing that it exists so much. I don't particularly care. I think it's very nice in that game environment. I think it's a great play. I'll get mine. They'll get theirs. I'm kind of fine with it this week.
Yeah, it is what it is.
One thing that I really like as leverage off the Mahomes Kelsey right now is I really like Mahomes Chase.
Yeah,
and
I've done that.
Going naked Mahomes from like the 6-7 spot and going Mahomes Chase. And then I've also done it with a double, gone Mahomes Chase Higgins, and then just gone nobody on the Mahomes side and just being like, yo, let him spread the ball. Mahomes outscores Burrow, but the wide receivers still get home.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, I really like that.
Mm-hmm. Sounds like he was shitting his pants.
That'd be even better. Who's that? Is that Jefferson?
I imagine it's Jefferson. I was kind of hoping that the Jalen Hurts would fall back to us. Did not. I think getting Derrick Henry here is kind of fun, just in terms of a little mini stack of that game.
God bless you. I'm Derrick Henry here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Numi.
Mm-hmm.
I think we got to look at this from the correlation there. That's like free. You know, we're not reaching on it, and getting Derrick Henry at that late of a value is pretty sick. I don't think that he's gonna fall in ADP because I think we're gonna hear more and more this week as people start to dive into slates on their own channels that like how you beat the Philadelphia Eagles is on the ground, and it's Derrick Henry. So
I like that. It's fun to see Saquon coming in like third rounds and stuff like that. I mean, I'm going to have a lot of Saquon this week, I think, just because of that, because of the price point.
Yeah, I don't know if you heard me tell Numi. I've seen him go undrafted.
Whoa! No, I did not hear that.
And it almost happened twice, but I had to take him in one of my drafts in the 6th.
That's wild. I was hoping for Waddle to come back. I thought that was a cool little point of leverage on the slate. I was also hoping that Kittle would fall back because I think there's a tier break here, and then you get that mini correlation with Tyreek. You could also twist my arm in waiting on Debo.
Yeah, see, that's what I was going to suggest is take Kittle.
So then take Kittle now?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And
then what we could do, I don't know how weird you want to get, but like Jimmy Garoppolo is playing really good football. And
my problem with Jimmy just in general is even if they have like that sick game that he had last week, right, where he throws 3 touchdowns, whatever, his ceiling is still so flat. Like it's so capped. Like this is the best game he's played in forever, dumping off all those touchdowns. They put up 40 points and he still only 4 touchdowns and he still only scores 25 points. So
Yeah.
I mean, I would rather naked Lamar. I just straight up. I don't know. Just thinking through it, but yeah, Numi, where do you come out? We've lost Numi. We didn't take Jefferson, and now he's been tilt sitting.
Now he's pissed.
Fucking
He's giving
remember,
us
remember, I
treatment.
led the show with soft tilt yesterday. Numi's been on soft tilt for a month.
Numi retweeted some Jefferson propaganda this morning. I don't know if you saw. Hayden Winks tweeted out his latest rollout of his TD model, and he was like, Jefferson is absolutely gonna go nuclear. Look at him. Look at how Dewey is for regression in my model. And Numi he probably broke his fucking phone hitting retweets.
Oh, I love it.
I love you,
much. Oh, I love it so much. Debo goes there.
Okay, so yeah,
I think we're kind of venturing into scroll the F down tier.
Yeah.
Tua
is like always there.
Mm-hmm. I kind of like we could do Tua. I kind of like that we could just go with like a one-off ATN here and just be like, this ADP is ridiculous, and he's just a one-off here.
We need it, man. ETN.
Yeah, you think so?
Yeah, man. ETN
and then just,
is so
freaking
good.
The only thing I will say to the point is no. We can't. Okay, never mind. Yeah.
Good call. Sorry, I didn't see that. Good call.
Yeah. The fact that they've already filled their running backs in their positions and A&T has Waddle right now, we cannot pass on to it there.
Yeah,
we
really good point.
Screwed our own builds.
And we get to contribute to the fall of his ADP now. And so we just got to keep him buried, man. That makes
so much leverage. So much leverage. Yeah, Numi, would you take ATN here or would you like somebody else? What do you think?
I'd take ETN.
Yeah.
I don't think you're going to get ETN in this spot. Like, I really think he's the guy that I think he's going to be when Chad posts his like movers on whatever day, Sunday morning, Saturday night, he'll be close to the top of that list.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He should be. The market seems to get very efficient and kind of will adjust. And I think he's going to want to be one of the biggest adjusters.
I agree.
So I kind of do that. I kind of just will map out guys I think that are going to fall and go down. Like Jacobs, one of them. I know he went there, but still I see him still falling a little bit where you can get him there and not have to spend that 1-2 turn on him. And ETN's one of the guys that will just rock it up. Yeah, that's just still crazy that we're getting him at 33.
Yeah, I like that a lot. Just speaks to the depth of running back this week. And one thing that I think is really noteworthy about him that we did bury the lead a little bit on earlier was just the fact that he was cleared to come back in that game, and they just held him out for precautionary reasons. Like, he was fine to come back in, allegedly. So, I don't know, kind of common knowledge now, but a little nugget that
I guess that makes sense because they had to pass a bunch. So it's like, okay, like whatever, we got Hasty.
And Hasty was kind of rolling, like he had a little pop to him. So I mean, not like great, but I mean he just had
he was serviceable. You're right.
Yeah, exactly. So there was
as soon as ETN gets that little green active box, we're gonna see because he's got the probable tag, so he'll like inevitably switch to the green marker.
Mm-hmm.
That people love that green active icon.
Yeah,
he'll get thrusted up once that happens.
Yeah, 100%.
Any thoughts, feelings on this draft? I want to talk about this for 1 second here. I've been really, as much as I love Jacobs plus McCaffrey, and I love that, I've been really trying not to what I call pigeonhole my builds this week, just because there's so much running back volume or value that ends up falling. Like I've seen CMC go mid-third. We just got Derrick Henry in the middle of the third round. Like we're seeing running back kind of be like the faller of the week. So I'm really fading the double running back start and then letting the board fall to me.
Yep. Yeah. It seems that's
100%.
the highest I've seen CMC go. I mean, I've been just getting nonstop CMC in the middle round. So
and just to say what you're saying, John, too, like in a vacuum, like this is a good team, right? Like it's a good team in a vacuum, but like on Tuesday, while we have all this other value suppressed, and we know we can say with some pretty good certainty Jacobs' ADP is going to fall. Like you can probably get that combo and get a different first rounder, like, and still get like a Jacobs McCaffrey team. And then instead now you're rocking like Tyreek McCaffrey Jacobs or so, you know what I mean? Or, something else. I just feel like, but in a vacuum, that's a good team. And, on Sunday, like that could end up being the result if we get good news on Jacobs. Now it's like, that's the meta at the 2-3 turn or 1-2 turn.
Any thoughts on Keenan Allen, guys? Personally, I always view him as just like a volume monster, and in spots where I think he's going to get volume, I don't mind playing him, and that's usually trailing scripts. That's usually without Mike Williams. That's usually with banged up Austin Eckler, like something of that magnitude. And we don't have any of those things tonight, this week. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I love Keenan as a player. He's not like he might break the slate like once a year. And maybe.
Great point.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Like
when's the last time we got 150 and 2 scores from Keenan Allen? Never.
It doesn't happen often. But when he does break it, he fucking breaks it because he's gonna catch like 12 footballs and like and maybe a score on top of that. Like that's what he does when it does happen. But otherwise, I think he's a great floor play that like won't sink your team. Like I think he makes a ton of sense to draft because like you can feel good that like he won't kill your team. I feel confident that won't happen in this matchup, even if Mike Williams comes back.
Hot little clip this nugget right here. He's glorified Tyler Boyd.
Sorry, John, you broke up there, buddy.
People are triggered.
Didn't quite get that. You know what he is he's good Deontay Johnson.
I was just gonna say,
that's a way better comp. That's a way better comp. Okay.
I was gonna say, I feel like the comparison of the Spider-Man meme is Deontay Johnson and Keenan kind of right now.
I like it.
Although,
let's fire at least one or two more of these. Brett bringing up 6th round Keenan feels good. Yeah, 100%. Bringing up this Eckler Jacobs. It's been one of my favorite minis so far, just because the narrative is so easy to paint that Jacobs gets ahead on the ground and it just becomes the Austin Eckler dump off show game. I mean, Chargers are slight favorites in that game.
They're a great pairing because it's so hard to get Devontae Eckler. Like I think that might be like the most impossible, like one of the most impossible combos
good point.
you can get right now. So like, if you are going to pair them, like,
it has to be that way. Yeah.
I think. Do we think Jacobs is going to play?
I mean, I'm not even. Honestly, I didn't even really cross my mind that he wouldn't. I know that there's a legit Q tag right now, but after last week, it just kind of like never crossed my mind that he wouldn't play this week. I don't know.
Right. Like, so I'm with you on that. And I just wonder, because what we've been talking about and what I still feel confident in is that Jacobs is going to fall because we know how the market's going to react to this didn't practice Q tag news. What we've seen slate over slate is that sinks a player's ADP, but like, what, like I guess my like what if scenario is like, what if like people are also like calling the Raiders bluff and we don't get this Jacobs value now we're going to be like, well, I guess it's time to like just eat it, like I don't want to full fade Jacobs.
If the time comes, I'll take him, but this is not the time to take Josh Jacobs. It really is not. Like I have 0 Josh Jacobs and I will have probably a lot of Josh Jacobs, but it's in terms of my builds right now and playing the market. I think he's going to fall. And I think once that first no practice comes, even regardless of the call out that, hey, he's probably not gonna, I think that's still going to be like, well, look at this. Look at Derrick Henry, Nick Chubb slowly starts to fall. I think at some point, like maybe on Wednesday or Thursday, if he really isn't practicing, he won't even be on the first screen. He'll be just like in that 11 range and slowly. I really do. Like if everyone starts to see that and not everyone is just going by listening, expecting he's going to play, doing that same mindset. You know what I mean? Like I do really think he falls, even if it's a little bit. I can still. It's not like he's going to skyrocket up if he's 100. I really don't think he's going to go ahead of any of those guys really. And just I think he still stays the highest he goes is where he is right now. That's what I should say.
I like that shout. I like kind of getting either weird and doing like a Hurts AJ Brown here, or I really like doing this one that we talked about before.
Yeah, I like either of those. I've done those starts a couple times.
Either one.
Okay.
Let's run this.
Okay. I actually got a couple Jalen plus AJ Brown from the other side of the board with
Numi's done that a few times too. I've seen.
Yeah.
But I do like just the idea of just like getting unique and saying like who cares when you get it.
Terrence is T-Bear. There we go.
All right, okay.
Yeah. So this is full friends and family draft right now. We got Paul, we got Chad, we got Terrence in here. I don't know who King's Tavern is. King's Tavern's in a lot of drafts, but I don't know who King's Tavern is, and I don't know who Tiny Builds is. So if you're in here, say what up.
Tiny Builds is in the Discord.
Okay, there you go. Oh yeah. Actually, yeah. Now that you say that, yeah, I've definitely seen the screen name in the Discord, but only recently.
Yep.
Yeah, like the last couple of days. Yeah, good show.
Yeah, I will say, I love that. I love that Hurts. I love that Hurts AJ Brown as much as I can get it. I mean, like one of the first drafts I got. You want to talk about not being able to get something? It was a Hurts, Henry, Devonta Adams, Saquon, AJ Brown, George Kittle. Like it's just those pre-ADP drafts were nuts. Like AJ Brown was falling to the 4th over and over because he was just so buried.
Would you guys agree? And I think you probably would, just because I think we're kind of going towards not double stacking hardly anybody in these contests anymore. Double stacking Jalen Hurts is probably like a no-go for you guys, I'd imagine, since like it's not Dallas Goedert. It's
Hurts
now
is a +1 guy for me.
Yeah.
For me, I would think that like if I'm gonna go kind of down the list of quarterbacks, it would be like Mahomes, Burrow, Herbert, Tua if you can get it. We don't know anything about Deshaun, so it's kind of like a question mark. I wouldn't really want to double stack the team that wants to run the ball all the time, regardless of a Deshaun Watson.
Mahomes is a no for me, I think.
Okay, yeah. See, I'm willing to double stack Mahomes. So yeah, I think it's still there.
Yeah, I think it makes. I'm for both sides, right? Because it's like if one of the wide receivers are getting home with Mahomes, like somebody in this tournament is probably going to have it. But he does spread the ball out so much that like it feels okay both ways, you know. But I'm also like, oh geez, you know, somebody's probably going to like have the Mahomes.
It just makes my 6-leg parlay easier. And I think he's just one of the guys. It's just my stance, my opinion. I think it's our pick here. So I think Waddle for sure. I just love that game environment.
I kind of really like doing this.
You can do that.
Yeah, because we can get any. I've been taking Walker here a lot. But
I mean, you could twist my arm for Walker. You could twist my arm for Saquon for sure.
Well,
I think I like Saquon more than Walker. Okay, I think Waddle for sure. I think we got 2 running backs gone here, 2 here, 1. This is fun. Double tight end on the end by T-Bear. That's fucking fun.
With Jalen Hurts too. I like that.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
That's really unique.
Naked Jalen with the double tight end. Woo.
So yeah, I mean, I could do
really
Debo.
like
We could
let's just do Debo.
We could
let's
do
go.
Debo.
Let's
we
thrust
could
his
forego
ADP
him
up.
and get Ayuk. Okay.
Yeah. That's actually a very sharp point to me. We could forego Debo. We could take
if
the
we
higher
wanted to get a running back.
Yeah, take the higher ceiling running back, then take Ayuk. And then the thing about these builds is you're kind of low-key fucked at tight end because Mahomes doesn't have a stack partner and we don't have a run back partner. We could do a mini correlation of like running back tight end because they are positively correlated, starting running back from one side and opposing quarterback from the other side. And even if they're on the same team, it's only slightly negatively correlated. So I think that's pretty fun.
Yeah, one running back that's interesting, just that we talked about. And
I only double stack Mike White. That is the comment. That is the comment. Damn straight.
Also leverage off of that entire game is Pacheco's interesting again, I think.
Yeah, he is.
Just as a one-off to that entire get your exposure there. Chiefs, for whatever reason, get down to there. They use Pacheco. Pacheco just breaks one. So I think that's just another interesting play down there for like a one-off back and leverage that game. You know, we're always trying to make the picks count the most and think through our picks, and that's a fun one. Just kind of thinking of players that
interesting with the Pacheco narrative with a Mahomes team.
I
wasn't
saying that.
Yeah, just in general. Yeah, in general, I agree with you. Yeah. I think in general, I definitely agree with you. I think in the context of this team, we wouldn't do it.
Yeah, but, no, not in. I wasn't thinking this team. Just of the whole thought of, you know, we're built as I want to build this game. Everyone wants to build this game. How many people would be willing to throw in a couple of Pacheco lineups and just say, you know what, this is how this game kind of goes wonky and this happens. So
I have two potential plans in mind here.
Okay.
I got three. Okay.
I mean, I like Dalvin Cook.
Hold on.
I like Aaron Jones.
Can I share my plans first? Dalvin Cook and Tyler Conklin, Aaron Jones and Cole Kmet, TJ Hawkinson and Dalvin Cook.
I think Hawkinson, like, to start personally, he's like their wide receiver too. And and if you're scared of Sauce, like, he's
leverage off of JJ.
Yep. What do you think about double leverage off JJ?
I don't love that.
Okay, give me another
name. For me, it's Aaron Jones or Jamal Williams. Numi, what's your contribution there?
I don't hate it. I would. Aaron Jones is fun. Jamal Williams is fun here too.
Jamal Williams has 2 touchdowns written all over him.
All right, sure.
I mean, I've kind of had to board the Jamal Williams thing, and it's just when apparently the only thing the Lions can do is get the ball down to the 3-yard line and closer, and then
plan.
And then when it goes to crap, they're just like, oh well, we should have just done what we did, and then the first play is just Jamal Williams basically untouched into the end zone. It's like, just do it right away and just continue to run that play. If it's first and goal there, get 4 opportunities. He's not going. He's getting in on one of those 4. Like, it's truly unbelievable. Like,
yeah, I really like this.
And for just one of the most fun players. Like, I love Jamal Williams. He's awesome. Guy. Great.
Yeah, we talked a little bit of Everett flop lag. That's good. Aaron Jones for sure. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's kind of.
The Everett flop leg is interesting with the Cardinals call. Like, you know, Pete calling it on our show, talking about it on his show, everyone knowing the Cardinals pass. I'm like, oh, if Everett can't do it, then he spreads it out. I mean, it would just be poetic for him to get, you know, that nice 15-point game.
So many mouths to feed in that offense. I think I did this draft by myself, I wouldn't have ended this way. I think I would have got a little weirder. I think I might have gone Hayden Hurst and just like kind of loaded up the Cincy side of that game, and then just being like, the answer that I need is Mahomes scores 4 touchdowns, but it's to 4 different players. And then the other side of the ball is like Hayden Hurst gets like the 1 score you need, no tight end, breaks the slate, and Jamar Chase is the piece you need. I don't know. I was just thinking through narratives.
Like, if Kelsey isn't picking the slate, Hawkinson, I think, has like such a good floor that if like no tight end breaks the slate, like Hawkinson like puts you in the hunt. I think this really rests upon like Waddle over Hill. You know what I'm saying? Like he outscores Tyreek, and this game blows up like we expect. And who can do that? Like Waddle has like the explosive play capabilities, even though he hasn't done it a ton this year, but he has that type of speed. And Debo, of course, we've seen Debo just like take shit to the house. That was just, he makes it look like the easiest thing in the world.
You want to know why this lineup wins, right?
Round Lamar.
It's the afternoon games.
Obviously,
late afternoon hammer.
But yeah, man,
that's fun. These games, these afternoon games, the 3 highest totals on the slate, basically. Besides that
seems to be a trend recently.
Besides the Jags, Lions, but the Clippers, the Chargers and Raiders, Chiefs, Cincy, Miami 49ers, and still Seattle, the Rams. Like, you still got the Seattle game. Like, man.
Yo, T-Bear, if you're still in the chat, Terrence, tell us who you took with this 6th pick here. Interesting to just note. Interesting to note that Aaron Jones did not get drafted in this draft. Like
We're
just
the
in
only
general.
team that took 3 wideouts in this room.
Interesting. Good point.
And those are some good wideouts.
Paul-
I'll tell you.
Paul's been. I've noticed this that he's all over Austin Eckler. He's been thrusting him up to like.
He
I've
really
even
likes
seen him
that
tearing
Chargers
that too.
Raiders game.
Yeah, I like Austin Eckler a lot this week as well. But I do think this is a fun way to do it with this Mike Williams double. I think this is pretty sharp.
Jacob spelled a 10. That's something to note. He's already starting the decline.
Yeah, leave thrusting up Nick Chubb there as second running back off the board.
There seems to be like some like there seems to be some resistance at pick 10 for Jacobs because Eckler, like I see the Eckler teams take Jacobs like a lot. So if Jacobs does like make his way around to round 2, it seems like the Eckler teams are now scooping him.
Okay.
So that's like, like in the old the fake science of fundamentals in the stock market, like the resistance points and everything. That's the resistance point for Jacobs right now.
Yeah, once that breaks, all of a sudden he's just falling down.
Sell.
Yeah, next thing you know, he's gonna. Yeah, you guys can't see it, but he's just gonna go around the turn, come back to that, and now he's gonna be at the 15 mark consistently. Yep.
Yeah, you gotta set your stop loss at 15. Like you can't let him fall past 15.
Yeah. There's 2. That's a good shout. There's I wish I knew how to use the stop loss about 5 years ago.
Oh,
these are some really fun teams, but like I just want to speak to like just in general how much talent is going undrafted this week.
Yeah.
Right? Like this is like we took 3 wide receivers. Nobody else took 3 wide receivers. There's a lot of big household names being drafted on this board, but like there's also like there's no Aaron Jones, there's no Garrett Wilson after his like, big breakout game. There was a Christian Kirk or no Christian Kirk? There was a Christian Kirk. Okay, cool. Yeah, I don't know. Very interesting, fun slate to draft right now. But like we do see, a bunch of sharp drafters in this room. We do see everyone gravitating to the same game environments right now that I think there's going to be some nice leverage to get kind of weird this week. Maybe it is that Steelers Atlanta game. Maybe it's something else. But I think there's going to be Garrett Wilson. There you go. Thank you, Chad. Garrett Wilson was T-Bear's last pick, right? Okay. Yeah, drafts feel a lot deeper this weekend last week. Yeah, I fully agree with that. And I don't know why that is.
12 games, not 10 or 11.
Yeah, that's fair.
More games and just the pairing.
Higher totals. Yeah, like I told Nez, 12 games, some of the highest totals we've got, and the matchups of all the teams.
Mm-hmm.
So you have, you have the Bengals paired with the Chiefs. So now you have someone to pair with. You have all these options to pair with a Mahomes team. So naked Mahomes teams feel way more comfortable.
Yep.
You have that the 49ers Dolphins game. Just so many you can just name off pieces from that game that are just so stackable. It's just the games matched up with everything. So
interesting to note that like we have a team total. I think people are treating the Rams like they're the old Rams. Like maybe they have no one on the offensive side of the ball to push the pace, and maybe this turns into a gross divisional blog game. But just not a single Seahawk outside of Kenneth Walker getting drafted here is interesting after we've talked about them being like a nice pace up spot, a nice like fun double stack pairing. Gino's been cash game quarterback so many fucking times. Yeah, I don't know. Interesting week. Another friends and family. We got Bop in here. BRN DXQ. We got Chad. Oh.
Chad going with the background change. Everybody's
LED 89 always hanging out in the Discord too.
There what up, man?
There we go. Friends and family.
Gotta get you a badge, brother.
Yeah, working on it. I'm Kelsey 101. Is there anything else to say?
No. It's Kelsey.
Knew me? No.
He's not. Do you see him? He's not there.
Oh, no, I wasn't looking at the screen.
Yeah, he hopped away. Chubb, look at Bop. I love it, man. Take a stand. Why not?
All right. Here we go. And then Mike's in here too. There we go. Perfect. Love it.
Big time friends and family. Holy crap.
Love it.
I don't know if anybody's noticed, but I changed my dog and background as well. But I have a little Christmas theme going. I try to make it look like Max from the Grinch, and then put a little red nose on him with the green background. I got festive on y'all. I don't know if anybody noticed that. I was really trying to get cute.
Yeah, here. This is a good shout. Thank you, Paul. Yeah, Terrence, come hang out in the Discord, Deposit Kingdom Discord. We're chatting strategy. We're chatting strategy all day. The link is in the description below. A lot of fun.
Yeah, good stuff in there. You don't want to miss that. You can get access to all these spreadsheets that we're using, the ADP spreadsheet, the anecdotal spreadsheet. Yeah,
Bob's lock of the days for the
How did LeBron do last night? Didn't he get hurt?
I have no idea, dude. I am not even kidding you. I was so tired. That game was so bad. The NFL
he left
game,
halfway and then came back, I think.
I thought Cat was done, so I literally hopped in bed, went to bed. So I was just
Lakers blew a 17-point lead where they had the bench running.
Yes, I watched I like to watch like the recaps on YouTube, and I saw Nemhard take that game winner. That was awesome.
Dude, so dope.
Yeah.
Dude, the Lakers.
Did you see that? Someone retweeted that Therese Halliburton thing that's insane right now.
I did.
Was it? Yeah. I totally
60
forgot.
points, 40 assists, 0 turnovers in his last 2 games.
All right, we got ourselves a Mahomes Kelsey here.
You guys want me to read that?
Whoa, let's go. All right.
Yeah, it was kind of. I was hoping for this, or I was then thinking that Jalen Hurts plus Derrick Henry is kind of fine too, or like kind of fun as well. I think if we get this start, it's kind of a no-brainer to go with the T. Higgins run back, unless we want to wait and try and get Mixon late and take like Derrick Henry here. What do you guys think? CMC, Derrick Henry, or Higgins?
Everybody that gets this is going to try to get Higgins.
Okay, so then what do you want to do?
Henry or Waddle. I know we just drafted Waddle. We can do Higgins, dude. Honestly, like it's okay. Like it's going to be so rare. Like who gives a fuck?
I don't have it. Yeah, I don't have it yet.
I have one with Henry, so that's the one that I have.
Okay, then then I'm wrong. I lied.
Yeah, I mean 80 in FanDuel scoring on underdog scoring. He's been balling the F out, but like in this format,
let's talk about that. Let's just talk about this for a second. Let's really do this. The poverty franchise of the Sacramento Kings said, you know what? We want a guy that is the most one-dimensional guy in NBA, in Domantas Sabonis. Give us Jeremy Lamb, a little bit of a Justin Holiday, and throw in a juicy 2027 second-round pick. We'll give you Tristan Thompson, Buddy Hield, and the guy we just drafted 7 overall, and Tyrese Halliburton.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That
is crazy.
I mean, they got Halliburton and Hield.
Yeah, in the same deal.
They gave up Sabonis and Lamb and Justin Holiday and a second-round pick. I mean, fleece. Just literally fleeced them. They said, thank you very much.
What looks worse now, that trade or the Russell Wilson trade?
Russell Wilson.
That's crazy.
So I still think, and I'm going to stand by this,
there we go. Chad doing the Lord's work, 3.45%.
The Broncos were absolutely just like, as soon as they got Hackett, and then when they did not get Rodgers, because that was the plan. Hackett's like, I'm getting Rodgers. We're all good. I know what to do. He didn't get Rodgers, and all of a sudden it was like, here they made the whole thing for Russ, and that was not the guy that he wanted at all. Was not in planning an offense with Russ, and the whole thing is just. And Russ is just apparently not good at football. That's shocking, I guess.
Yeah, I was really hoping Saquon would fall right there. My eyes right now just scream Deebo Samuel plus Kenneth Walker, but I can be convinced otherwise.
I take Kenneth and Travis Etienne like all day, every day. Jesus, This is your team. This is your team, dude. Like,
okay, I'm gonna take Kenneth Walker for sure, just because I think like that's like a pretty clear spot for me. I think the talent drop off at wide receiver for me is steeper than the running back drop off.
Yeah.
And I think I really like Deebo. Yeah, what's up?
You can get a fun mini if you do Deebo.
Yeah, with like a 6th round Jeff Wilson.
if you want it, or you stack Mahomes, whatever you want.
I'm not going to double stack Mahomes, I don't think. I mean, I could do.
Oh, you already have Kelsey. Sorry,
yeah.
I totally
We
forgot.
could
Yeah,
do.
so then
We could do Juju in the last round, and I don't
no,
think
yeah,
it's
no,
terrible.
But I didn't forgot you were blessed with a Mahomes Kelsey on stream.
Nobody runs better than me from the 101. Yeah, I don't know. I think there's a pretty clear talent drop off at wide receiver comparative to running back this week. With like these top end running backs, it looks like, I like 4 or 5 past the Winks line, and I also think the Winks line is actually closer to ATN than it actually is to Jeff Wilson. You know what I'm saying?
Can you go to the wide receivers? Because I can name a bunch that I personally like down there. DK Metcalf,
Down here?
Devonta Smith, Terry McLaurin, Tyler Lockett, Brandon Ayuk, George Pickens, Tyler Boyd, Cortland Sutton, George. Like, I literally have no problem clicking.
I can't get behind Cortland Sutton, dude. I get it. I get it. I
mean,
can't.
I'm on the board where I'm done naming. I name these people, and then when I draft my teams, it's literally they are chess pieces. And if he's gonna be that, I'm gonna add that chess piece onto my team. Like, I do not care.
It's crazy. We got the guy leading the NFL in touches in Jamal Williams, and he's not off the board. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he's there like every time.
I mean, I just think it's also just deep all over. So to your running back point, I mean, I really do. I like Terry a lot this week. I really do.
Mm-hmm.
So what is this like? I've been seeing everybody say flop lag. What is?
It's a poker term that isn't actually a good poker term. It's like we're gonna get 6th round Jamar again, eh? Like, that's wow.
Lamar.
Yeah, sorry. Damn, ATN goes there. I was really hoping that he came all the way back.
That is still nuts.
I'm gonna slam the shit out of this game and just be like,
do it.
Higgins and Mixon are the pieces you need, and we're just gonna slam the shit out of this game and then hope the 2 other pieces go there.
This could very well be like the Baltimore-Miami game from week 2.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that line of thinking. I think there's a very strong case right now to be made to take Dalvin here too, and be like, Dalvin pops that game environment, or we have the leading scorer in the league in rushing touchdowns sitting there. But I'm just gonna slam the shit out of this game and just be like, that's the game.
Yeah.
Oh shit! I forgot to save the board. Dang.
Bob, save the board.
Yeah, somebody who was in there, please save the board. Throw it in the
Chad was in there. Chad's in there.
Somebody's in there.
Let's throw on Bob though. Let's make Bob.
Yeah, flop lag's like a lot.
How many grab bongs is he deep?
Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, please, because I was asking about that.
Okay, flop lag is like, it's a term that Adam Levitan uses a lot, and I think that's why it gets said in these communities. But it was like a classic live poker player thing where like mainly like reg fish sitting at casinos who are watching every hand get played, where they'll be like, hey, I had like king queen this hand and it didn't hit, and then the very next hand the flop is king queen 4 or whatever, and it's like, oh, classic flop lag, I had it last time but I don't have it, and it's just like, it's a classic little like, when you're,
it's a cooler way of saying like post type.
Yeah, right. And it's like, yeah, the flop lag on X player right there, right?
Yeah, I gotta sound like a
T-Bear saying that take Mix in case he can't stop the run. I think it's going to be a super rare combination just to have 2 on the KC side and two on the KC side that is those 2, and then don't save boards save me.
You're right, especially if we get the green button on Mixon.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Right. Do you guys have time to just do 1 hoops? Just jump in it right now and just do 6 minutes of hoops, or do you guys want to just?
Not even worth it. Oh, I would just say, like, we're waiting on news. We're waiting unless things happen. We're basically waiting on the Pistons.
Maybe you're too sour on hoops, man. I'm a hoops guy. Just jump in, man. Waiting on.
I actually gotta run.
We gotta skedaddle. Maybe we'll do a newly at night hoops or something.
You guys don't have
if anyone wants to
hoops,
join me.
Well,
it's just nothing we'll talk about now, I guess. Or just, I mean, they can watch his draft, but literally, I mean, maybe. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't.
I think you can get some nice prices right now. You can get a nice price on beef stew, though he's got the probable tag now. You could get a nice price.
Bagley's
on,
available to play. That's who I was expecting because he had migraines. So
My boy.
There's another one. Yeah. So Bagley, but I think the big talking point of that slate, just in general, every time. I think the biggest talking point on the slate is just the usage that will be in the Pistons backcourt, basically, if we get certain guys in or out, right?
we don't know anything. Like everything,
we won't
it's
know.
it's like moving pieces that then move pieces that then move pieces because like I guess if Bagley's available to play, we're projecting him in. Stewart upgraded from Q to probable, project him in. Then it really just comes down to IV and Bojan. So
right now I've been drafting a lot of Bojan because I'm like, yo, he's gonna make his season debut. This is a piece of leverage right here because I was projecting some of the other people
Bojan has played all season. Bogdanovich for the
Bogdan. That's who I'm talking
about. Hawks
Bogdan.
is going to be Yep. I was like, wait, what?
Yeah.
No, gotcha.
Yeah. No, but I was like thrusting him up the draft boards right now because I was like, oh, yo, he's gonna play kind of deal. And I don't know. That was just like my one point of leverage. I was kind of off Bagley because I was like, his usage is predicated on other guys playing. I don't know. I was just fucking bro sciencing it.
Yeah, I mean, if there's no Ivy,
if you're just
Cade, there's obviously no Cade, but if there's no Ivy, it's interesting. So, well, I'll tell you what. I mean, if we actually have people that want to
later. Here we go. All right,
we can do hoops later. I'm around. I got
there we go.
10 inches of snow coming. So
you guys go hang out, have your lunch. John Boy's gonna do a hoops draft right now. I'm doing a hoops draft.
Hold his hand. We can reconvene after. I know we were gonna talk some shot behind the scenes, but we can do that after. But I do gotta.
Okay. Because no hoops today. No hoops today. Yeah, there you go. Well, I wanna actually talk about that real quick.
Okay.
All right. No hoops today. We are going to get dialed up on our written content. There's going to be something else coming our way. Yeah, Numi keeps pushing these hoops after dark, Numi, blah, blah,
They're
blah.
mainly like 4 o'clock. I mean, the contest fills like my time, Central. So 4 or 5 Central. It'll kind of be around that time. Just, so, yeah, we'll talk. If it happens, you'll see the update. So,
all right. Yeah, anything else to add? Just keep drafting. Everybody, good luck in hoops tonight. We may or may not be back with a little like brief hoops segment later today. Keep an eye out for our written content. I think it's going to be dropping Thursday on the Underdog site. I think that's going to be our plan. We're going to talk a little behind the scenes, what we're going to do there. If you have any suggestions, any shouts, anything like that, please put it in the Discord, put it in the comments below, anything like that. We are open to what kind of content you guys want to see in the written format. We have some ideas, but open to anything. Do me a favor, hit that like.
Really helpful if you guys were able to do that. I know that we have stuff in mind, but shamelessly, like we also would very much like some ideas. So if you do have anything that you'd like to see from us, like please do not hesitate.
Yeah, slide into them DMs.
Okay. All right. Do us a favor, hit that like, hit that subscribe, join the Deposit Kingdom. If you haven't signed up for Underdog, what the fuck are you doing? Sign up with promo code BADGE. We got some nice merch. Oh, this is Deposit Kingdom stuff. Some merch in there. I think the promo code Badge Bros still works right now for 15% off. It's Cyber Tuesday. We're calling it. We're pushing it one more day.
Our gear only, use code Badge Bros, and I believe that's what the discount's for. And that code Badge, by the way, it gets a $100 match if you deposit $100. So we'll give you a free hundo on there if you're not in.
Be like my in-laws. I got to download and use it. Be like them. Everyone wants to be like them and get a nice deposit match. So.
These are the 2 big ones that are still left for the slate there.
Yep.
And long form hoops content coming your way, courtesy of me. Yeah, Hayden's giving me the green light.
That's a Sisyphean task. That is the definition of a Sisyphean task. As soon as you're done, news breaks. Well, I got to rewrite everything.
Exactly right. All right, guys. Everybody's favorite time of the show. The end. Peace.